The anime begins by telling a story of Yuito Sumeragi. When he was just a little boy, a scary monster called an Other attacked him. Then, a brave woman from the Other Suppression Force saved him. Yuito never forgot her and wanted to find her again. So, when he grew up, he decided to join the OSF. Since then, Yuito trained really hard and finally became a member of the OSF. He was very excited because his best friend, Nagi Carmen, was with him too. On the day of the welcoming ceremony, there was big news on the city's TV. It turned out that Yuito came from a very important family who helped start the country. His older brother, Kaito Sumeragi, was the leader of the OSF. But some people didn't believe in Yuito because they thought his powers were too weak. Suddenly, an alarm went off and others were attacking. At that moment, everyone had to run to safety. There, Major General Karen Travers and Major General Fubuki Spring quickly defeated many others and made the city safe again. After that, the welcoming ceremony started. Yuito and Nagi saw two pretty girls in the crowd. Nagi said they were the Randall sisters, Naomi Randall and Kasane Randall. Then, Yuito's brother Kaito welcomed everyone and talked about how mysterious the others were. He said they came from a place called the Layer Extinction Area. When the ceremony was over, Yuito and Nagi wanted to know more about the Randall sisters. They found out that Naomi was adopted because her family was attacked by others when she was little. At that time, Yuito and Nagi joined a team led by Sato Narukami. Then, Yuito's childhood friend, a girl named Hanabi, was also in the team, along with Tsugumi Nazar and Kajiro Dan. Suddenly, another warning came. Others were attacking again. Sito's team and another team led by Kyoka went to fight them. The big anti-other cannon had already destroyed most of the others, but Yuito and his friends had to take care of the rest. One day, Yuito was on guard duty when he saw a small child in danger. He quickly ran over with Nagi to save the child. After saving the little boy, they were suddenly attacked by others. There, Nagi was saved by Naomi and her team, while Yuito was saved by Kasane, who was also in Naomi's team. Soon after, Yuito and Kasane fought together and Yuito was able to defeat the others with his own strength. When he looked at Kasane, Yuito remembered the woman who saved him when he was a child. Afterward, Luca Travers appeared and teleported all the OSF members to safety. Luca explained that others eat human brains and that some OSF members had died. The next day, Yuito and Nagi were on patrol together. Yuito told Nagi that he believed Kasane was the person who saved him when he was a child. Nagi thought it might be possible, but also mentioned that it was strange because Kasane had just joined the OSF, just like them. Later, Kasane and Naomi joined Yuito and Nagi for a walk. Suddenly, Kyoka and Sito's teams were teleported to an arena for training. They had to capture a flag in the center to win. During the clash, Naomi told Kasane that she had a crush on Yuito. Kasane then looked for Yuito to see if he was a good match for Naomi. They ended up fighting, but in the end, Tsugumi secretly captured the flag, and Sito's team won the duel. After the duel, Yuito's father called to congratulate him on joining the OSF, even though he was against it before. He also invited Yuito to a family dinner and mentioned that Kaito would be there too. Not long after, others invaded the city. At that moment, Kyoka and Sito's teams were sent to stop them. The fight happened in an underground tunnel. Both teams worked together to fight the others. After a tough battle, they finally defeated the monsters. But then, the ground collapsed. Kasane and Yuito got separated from their friends. They worked hard to find a way out and eventually met up with some of their teammates. Behind some rubble, Naomi and Nagi were trapped, and more others were coming toward them. There, Kasane, Yuito, and the others quickly broke through the ruins to help. They fought off the monsters from a distance. Shortly after, Kasane ran to Naomi, but then Naomi noticed a shot coming from far away. Then, Naomi pushed Kasane out of the way, but the shot hit Naomi in the chest. Suddenly, Naomi's body turned into a crystal. She transformed into a giant other and started to go wild. Everyone was scared but tried to fight Naomi. Soon after, Kasane tried to protect her, and it became a chaotic fight. Suddenly, Naomi disappeared. At that moment, Major General Fubuki Spring arrived. He saw what happened and didn't seem surprised. Fubuki wanted to keep everything about Naomi a secret. And Gemma, a member of Kyoka's team, wanted to complain, but Fubuki scolded him. At that time, Kasane didn't care and wanted to find Naomi. Just then, Karen showed up and stopped her. He used his power to hold Kasane in place and asked for permission to leave. At night, Kasane had a strange dream about a red thread stretching everywhere. She often had this dream. The next morning, she went to talk to Yuito about what happened the day before. Yuito promised to help her. After they talked, Kasane met Karen. Karen told her that the people who took Naomi were from the Siren area and that they might be able to turn Naomi back into a human. He also told Kasane to keep their conversation a secret, or else she might be killed by people from their country, New Himuka. There, Karen warned that the OSF wasn't safe. Later, another attack by the others was detected. Kyoka and Sito's teams were sent to the location, and Nagi, who had been in the hospital, joined them. Strangely, when Yuito asked Nagi about the Naomi incident, he didn't remember anything. When the teams arrived at the location, they found it empty and quiet. Suddenly, Gemma and other OSF members appeared and surrounded them. Yuito and his friends were shocked. At that moment, Gemma accused Sito of conducting terrible secret research. Hearing that, both groups got ready to fight. Luca Travers then appeared and asked Sito and Kyoka's teams to retreat. Luca suspected a rebellion within the OSF. Shortly after, Luca's older brother, Karen, showed up and joined Gemma's side. There, the two brothers began to fight. Meanwhile, Kasane had a headache and saw the red thread in her mind again. At the same time, Nagi also felt pain and started acting strangely. He moved toward Yuito and Kasane, ready to attack them. Suddenly, Nagi attacked wildly, losing control. The fight between the two groups continued around them. Luca fought Karen, and Sito fought Gemma. In the middle of the fight, Nagi suddenly released a powerful energy, creating a giant tornado that shocked everyone. At the same time, Kasane had another headache as all this happened. Meanwhile, Sito ran to stop Nagi. Sito was brave, but got hit by Nagi's attack and was hurt badly. At the same time, Kasane's headache got worse. She saw images of red threads all over the city in her mind. Suddenly, a giant black hole appeared in the sky, sucking everything in. Buildings collapsed and fell into the black hole. Some OSF members were also sucked in, including Kasane and Yuito. At that moment, Gemma saw Sito almost being pulled into the black hole. He tried to save Sito by grabbing his hand, but Sito slipped and was sucked into the black hole. Inside the black hole, Kasane and Yuito found themselves in a room filled with red threads. Kasane said she had seen this place in her dreams. They saw a screen showing a man with a logo on his clothes. Yuito recognized him as Yakumo Sumeragi. Suddenly, Yuito was pulled out of the black hole. When he woke up, he was with Tsugumi and Gemma. Turns out, Luca had bravely teleported into the black hole to save them, but not everyone was rescued. Later, Yuito talked with Gemma and some other members. Gemma admitted he made a mistake and wanted to know what was really happening in the OSF. They noticed that some members were acting strangely from time to time, a phenomenon called personality rehabilitation. This had been seen often in older members. Then, they discovered that the new Himuka government wanted to build a security force in Suo and made OSF members undergo body experiments that changed their personalities. Karen had told Gemma that Sito was involved in these experiments. Provoked, Gemma wanted to join Karen, but he suspected that Karen had other motives. Sometime later, others surrounded the Suo area. Sadly, they lost communication and no help could reach them. Meanwhile, Kasane woke up in a strange place. She met some other OSF members and was shocked to see the sky had turned red and there was destruction everywhere. In the middle of the ruins, a mysterious man appeared and said that time keeps turning. Then he called out Kasane's name. At night, the city was in big trouble because the others were attacking from all directions. Yuito and other OSF members were sent to protect the city center. Because communication was cut off, they couldn't talk to the central headquarters, and the others kept coming. On the other hand, at the central OSF headquarters, troops from Siren surrounded the area. They lined up silently without attacking. Wataru, an OSF member at headquarters, sent a telepathic message to Yuito's team. Finally, Yuito and his friends knew that Siren troops wanted to overthrow the ruling regime. Soon after, Luca met Yuito and the others and reported that Karen's whereabouts were still unknown. Major Fubuki also came and asked about the situation. After learning everything, Fubuki warned them to be careful because OSF members could no longer be trusted. The battle was tough because the others kept appearing nonstop. Soon, communication was restored, but it was a connection hijacked by Karen. Karen did a live broadcast throughout the city, claiming he had teamed up with Siren to overthrow the regime. He said the new Himuka government, led by Yuito's father, had been cruel. Everyone in New Himuka enjoyed network access provided by the government, which seemed like freedom. But secretly, the network stole personal data and controlled people. Anyone who rebelled was eliminated immediately. The government also controlled the information residents could access. At that time, Karen wanted to take over the government with Siren's help and invited people to join her in a revolution. While Karen was giving a speech, Yuito rushed to find his father. There, he fought off all the others in his way. When he finally reached his father, he was shocked to see his father was dead, and Kasane was standing there holding a knife. Seeing Yuito, Kasane attacked him. Earlier, Kasane, Kyoka, Erishur, and Shurdin were confused by the destroyed city and the empty ruins. As they walked around, Karen suddenly appeared and attacked Kasane. He used his power to copy Kasane's ability to manipulate gravity, then disappeared. Soon after, they met a mysterious man in the ruins. It turned out to be an older Yuito, and they realized they were in the year 2070. At that moment, Kasane and the others were shocked to learn they had been thrown into the future. Suddenly, everyone except Kasane was thrown back to their own time, leaving only adult Yuito and Kasane. There, Yuito explained everything. During the Siren rebellion, his father was killed, and Kasane was blamed for it. To distract from this, Yuito became a hero. He admitted that the new Himuka government had been researching how to turn humans into others. After the Siren rebellion, black holes started to appear in the sky, caused by the gravitational powers of Yuito and Kasane. These black holes slowly sucked everything in. The only way to stop the black hole was to kill Yuito. But Yuito wanted to find another way and failed, causing the world to crumble. Then, the adult Yuito asked Kasane to go back and kill his past self to prevent the black holes. Soon after, Kasane went back to the past. She found Yuito's father dying just as Yuito arrived in shock. At that time, Kasane tried to kill Yuito, but his friends stopped her, so she retreated. She then met Kajiro, Kyoka, and others and told them what adult Yuito had said. Shortly after, Karen appeared and invited them to retreat together. Meanwhile, Kaido contacted Yuito and asked him to act like a hero. Yuito talked with his older brother, but then suddenly found himself in the daytime, with people calling him commander. In that moment, Yuito had forgotten what happened recently and only remembered talking to his brother. After that, he forgot everything until that afternoon. Shortly after, Kasane and other OSF members joined Karen. Kasane said she would join OSF Siren if it meant Naomi could become human again. Soon after, a black hole appeared in the sky, and Kasane started to worry because what adult Yuito had warned about was happening. Then, Karen asked Kasane what she saw in the future, but she didn't want to tell him and instead asked about Naomi. Karen said Naomi was in a special facility, but Kasane wasn't allowed to see her. Meanwhile, Yuito had a brain examination, but nothing was wrong. He talked with his friends and saw on CCTV that Nagi was being taken away by officers. There, Yuito and his gang secretly followed. They arrived at an abandoned hospital in a barren land where Nagi was taken. Secretly, Yuito and his friends sneaked inside. At that time, Nagi was being tested while sitting in a chair. Soon after, Yuito and his gang were caught and attacked by others. They fought back using their abilities. However, the more Yuito used his powers, the bigger the black hole in the sky grew. Then, Kasane remembered what adult Yuito said about the black hole growing bigger with power usage. Fortunately, Nagi managed to escape and beat the officers holding him. Shortly after, he found Yuito and his friends after they had finished fighting the others. Nagi told them he had suffered terrible brain torture and warned them to leave immediately or they would be turned into others. Suddenly, more others appeared, and the fight started again. Nagi fought the others fiercely. Meanwhile, Yuito's friends forced him to leave for his safety. Nagi collapsed after helping defeat the others, and officers took him back to the experiment site. Soon after, Yuito returned to their base and got a video call from Fubuki. Fubuki warned them not to interfere with state secrets again. Turns out, Yuito and his friends should have been eliminated like Nagi, but Fubuki was protecting them. They found out that the government was turning humans into others, but Fubuki couldn't explain more. The next day, Karen and Kyoka's group secretly went to the facility where Naomi was. They found an ampoule with a mysterious liquid. They heard Naomi's voice in their heads and followed it to her room. There, they found Naomi as a terrifying other. Naomi could stay stable because of the liquid in the ampoule. Then, Naomi asked them to forget about her and leave. Suddenly, Naomi lost control and attacked Kasane and her friends. Shortly after, Karen appeared and injected Naomi with the liquid, calming her down. Karen explained he would try to keep Naomi alive using the liquid in the ampoule. Moments later, Yuito received a package with an ampoule filled with the same liquid used for Naomi. Then, Fubuki met Yuito's group and explained he was also against the government. Fubuki and Karen shared the goal of making the country better. The plan was for people in high positions to pretend to follow orders while secretly working against the government. At that time, Karen decided to fight from the outside, while Fubuki would attack from the inside. Yuito wanted to help with the plan, and Fubuki agreed to let Yuito and his group assist. One afternoon, Yuito and his team were fighting the others. In the middle of the fight, Yuito got a headache. He drank the liquid from the ampoule he received, and the pain disappeared, making him super powerful. Yuito defeated all the others quickly, but the black hole in the sky grew bigger. After that, they saw a truck driving through the desert and decided to follow it. At night, they arrived at the facility where Naomi was. Inside, they found many frozen human brains and more ampoules like Yuito's. Shortly after, Kasane and her group arrived and explained that the ampoules were made from human brains. Karen explained that the facility was originally for creating controllable other soldiers using human brains. Later, they discovered a way to keep human consciousness in others using brain fluid, so they started making more ampoules. But then, Yuito got very angry and fought with Kasane. He couldn't accept that the ampoules were made from human brains. But Kasane said Naomi needed the ampoules to survive. Soon after, Yuito and his team ran away. At headquarters, they met Fubuki, who knew about the factory. At that time, Fubuki and Karen had the idea to build the factory to fight New Himuka and overthrow the regime. Fubuki revealed that Alice, his fiancée, had turned into an other and was held in the facility Yuito's team had infiltrated earlier. Fubuki believed it was the only way to save Alice, even though he and Karen knew the facility would be misused. Fubuki also believed that Nagi's memories of Naomi's transformation were taken from him and kept at the hospital they had infiltrated before. Then, Fubuki asked Yuito's team to go back to the hospital and retrieve Nagi's memory data. As soon as they arrived at the hospital, Nagi, who had become much stronger due to more personality rehabilitation, ambushed them. Yuito tried to stop Nagi, but Nagi's strength had changed a lot. Soon after, Nagi captured Yuito and forced his teammates to surrender and put down their weapons. Meanwhile, Kasane's group was scolded by Karen for letting Yuito's group escape with information about the facility. Karen wanted to find a way to turn others back into humans, while Siren wanted to use others as living weapons against New Himuka. Kasane's friends told Karen that Naomi chose not to drink the ampoule anymore after learning it contained brain fluid. They believed Karen would force Naomi to drink it anyway. Karen also revealed to Kasane that the growing black hole was connected to Yuito's psionic powers. This was also what New Himuka believed. On the other hand, Yuito dreamed of his mother comforting him after a scary experiment. When he woke up, he found himself tied to the same chair as Nagi. Then, a scientist revealed that Yuito was actually born without psionic powers and was experimented on to give him these powers. Using his psionic powers repeatedly had damaged his brain. The scientist wanted to continue experimenting on Yuito like before, but Fubuki saved Yuito and the rest of the team thanks to trackers placed on them. Sadly, Nagi and his memory data were not found. Suddenly, others attacked, forcing the team to flee the hospital. At that time, Fubuki chose to stay behind and gave Yuito a device that would allow him to access Arahabaki's internet system. When Yuito and his friends escaped from the hospital, Karen stopped them. Karen told Yuito that New Himuka had labeled him a traitor. He offered Yuito a chance to join Siren. Yuito refused, saying Siren was just like New Himuka. Karen suggested Yuito go to Tagetsu, an independent city not allied with Siren or New Himuka. Karen gave Yuito one last dose of the ampoule to stabilize his strength. He warned that the medicine was temporary and Yuito would eventually lose his strength and memory. Karen then went into the hospital to save Fubuki from the others. At that time, Kyoka advised Yuito's team to defect from Siren and go to Tagetsu for safety. For disobeying OSF orders, Yuito was labeled a traitor by the Himuka government. At their hideout, Yuito told his friends that he was born without powers and only gained them through government experiments. Knowing they couldn't stay in Suo or go to Siren, Yuito suggested they go to Tagetsu, a city independent from both New Himuka and Siren. The team agreed. Meanwhile, Kyoka and Haruka told Kasane's team that the truck carrying human brains for making medicine to keep Naomi safe came from Tagetsu. Shortly after, Kasane's teammates questioned the decision to go to Tagetsu, especially Kajiro, who was from Tagetsu. They also knew Karen was keeping too many secrets from them, so Siren might not be the best option either. Kasane decided to go to Tagetsu to see if the town had anything that could save Naomi. On the other hand, Karen rescued Fubuki from the others and took her to a secret hospital. Kasane's team headed to Tagetsu but was attacked by giant others made of snow. After defeating them, Kasane and her friends reached the entrance to Tagetsu. At that time, Kajiro left the group for personal reasons. Then, they were welcomed by a priestess from the Tagetsu faith, who worshipped the moon. The priestess told Kasane that she was from Tagetsu and that New Himuka kidnapped her because of her strong psionic powers. Hearing that, Kasane didn't believe the story and demanded to enter the city, but the priestesses only allowed her to go inside alone. But there, she refused to leave her friends behind, which led to a conflict. Then, Kasane broke the mask of one of the priestesses, revealing it was a duplicate of Kyoka sent to paralyze Kasane and her group. Meanwhile, Yuito and his team were welcomed warmly in Tagetsu. The priest promised to tell them the truth. Yuito's team was led to a computer system operated by artificial intelligence with Kyoka's image. The AI revealed that Kyoka was one of several design children, genetically engineered by Tagetsu to have special psionic powers. The AI explained that 3,000 years ago, a massive orbital shift forced humans to flee to the moon and wait until the Earth was healthy again. After the Earth healed, some people returned and founded New Himuka. But contact with the people on the moon was lost due to the extinction belt. When Yuito asked about the origins of the others, the AI said it didn't have that information but suggested they could find it in Babe, a more advanced computer system in Tagetsu. When asked about black holes, the AI revealed that black holes were linked to Yuito's psionic powers, and their growth couldn't be stopped. The black hole would eventually consume the entire Earth, but the Tagetsu followers believed it would change the universe as it should. The AI shut down before providing more answers, but a priest offered to take Yuito's team to Babe for more information. In the end, Kajiro changes his mind about facing his Tagetsu brothers and decides to save Kasane's team. And Kasane, who has been locked in a room, dreams about a woman who took care of her when she was a child in Tagetsu. Kasane believes this woman, who is a trusted scientist in Tagetsu, is her mother because she always prioritized Kasane's safety. There, Kasane realizes she is a design child created by Tagetsu to manipulate red threads that can control space and time. Soon after, Kajiro rescues her and tells her that going to Tagetsu was a bad idea. He also says that Yuito and his team have reached Babe's room. When Yuito touched Babe, he was overwhelmed by a sudden influx of knowledge. This knowledge spread to the other members of Yuito's team when Kasane and Kajiro arrived in Babe's room. Against all odds, Kasane manages to communicate mentally with Yuito, urging him to disconnect from Babe. After trying hard, Yuito succeeds. With Yuito and his team regaining consciousness, Kasane asks them to help rescue her team, who are still captive in Tagetsu. At the same time, Luca manages to connect to Babe, gain administrator rights, and release the locks holding Kasane's team. That moment both teams try to escape Tagetsu but face resistance. Yuito ends up fighting a woman who looks like Kasane, realizing that she is also a design child. Shortly after, Kasane's team reaches the outside but is stopped by Kyoka, who shows hesitation about her mission. There, Kyoka tries to complete Tagetsu's mission, but Kasane urges her to decide what she really wants instead of blindly following orders. Kajiro explains that Kyoka is a design child created from whale genes, and Kyoka reveals that her mission was to lead Kasane to Tagetsu after she showed the power of the red thread. At that moment, Kasane sympathizes with Kyoka because she knows what it feels like to lose one's identity. Then, she encourages Kyoka to accept herself for who she is, not just as Tagetsu's tool. Shortly after, Kyoka expresses her desire to protect her new friends, which they warmly accept. After escaping from Tagetsu, the two teams regrouped at Kajiro's secret hideout. They shared what they had learned. Kajiro confirmed that both teams' information was correct. They discovered that their hideout was actually a spaceship used by people from the moon, and Kajiro himself was a lunar immigrant. Kajiro explained that he could stay in good shape using cryogenic capsules and that he knew Yakumo, who were ancestors from 2,000 years ago. Before Kajiro could explain more, the OSF attacked the hideout, and the teams had to escape through a cave in Mount Hieno. Kajiro explained that Yakumo led the effort to recolonize Earth, which led to the founding of New Himuka. Turns out, communication with the moon was lost because a disease turned the humans on the moon into monsters called Others. This was caused by mysterious comet radiation. At that time, the lunar people used a satellite to divert the remaining comet radiation to Earth, creating the extinction belt. With no other choice, Kajiro was forced to stay on Earth. Shortly after, the teams regrouped at the cave entrance, but were attacked by large Others that lived there. The Others held off the team's attack, forcing them to retreat. They tried another plan to defeat the Others. Before they acted, Kajiro revealed that some lunar people never gave up on returning to the moon, leading to the founding of Tagetsu. Using cryogenic capsules, Tagetsu's residents monitored the outside world and planned to return to the moon. There, Kasane realized that creating the design children was part of Tagetsu's plan, especially for her because she had the power to control time with the red thread. Kajiro didn't know why Yuito also had the red thread. The teams defeated the Others and exited the cave. Kajiro then revealed that he was a spy for Tagetsu but planned to betray them because he didn't want their plan to succeed. Yuito believed the best plan was to convince New Himuka and Siren to stop Tagetsu's plans. Before going back to their teams, Yuito told Kasane that he knew she didn't kill his father. Meanwhile, Nagi started biting Yuito and, while tied to a chair, was drugged with a pill in a secret room. Soon after, Yuito and his team returned to Suo, where a state of emergency had been declared. There, Tsugumi discovered that Himuka's squad was on high alert, and they realized because Nagi had been sent to kill Yuito and had his brain altered. Not wanting to fight his friend, Yuito lured Nagi to a secret training spot they used as cadets. Seeing the familiar place helped Nagi fight against the brainwashing by the Himuka government. Sadly, his brain couldn't handle the struggle and Nagi died. Afterward, Yuito laid Nagi's body to rest at their training spot. Then, Yuito headed to OSF headquarters to confront his brother. When Yuito arrived at Kaido's office, he confronted Kaido about Nagi's brainwashing, which Kaido knew about. But there, he said Nagi was a worthless pawn, making Yuito turn away from him. Yuito realized his true power is gravikinesis, a power the Sumeragi family and Suo wanted to fulfill Yakumo's wish for revenge against the Moon People. Yakumo believed the Moon People created the extinction belt and swore revenge. Even if he couldn't do it himself, he passed the task to his descendants. So, at that time, New Himuka planned to use Yuito's power to move the extinction belt and attack the moon. Even if Yuito couldn't do it alone, New Himuka would forcibly connect it to the brains of everyone on Earth, increasing its power. When Luca warned Kaido that this method would kill civilians, Kaido said he didn't care as long as Yakumo's goal was achieved. Yuito argued that following the wishes of someone who died 2,000 years ago was wrong, but Kaido revealed that Yakumo was still alive, in suspended animation deep in Suo. But there, Yuito doesn't want to join the plan. Kaido says Yuito is no longer part of their family, but he doesn't care. Yuito says he can be whoever he wants, and his family name doesn't matter. When Yuito's team leaves Kaido's office, they are surrounded by soldiers. But Luca helps them escape. Meanwhile, at Wataru's base, Erasure and Wataru say they can get proof against Kaido and the government. At that time, Yuito realizes his brother won't listen, so he decides to follow Fubuki's plan to share the evidence with everyone. On the other hand, Kasane and her team hear that Siren is moving human-like monsters to a new testing area. Shortly after, Kasane's team goes there to save Naomi. Now, Yuito's team is at the upper level of Arahabaki, trying to send the information to the people of New Himuka. Soon after, Kasane's team finds out the monsters will be brainwashed and used as weapons. Kaido also ordered Fubuki to be killed because of betrayal. There, Kasane's team tries to save Naomi and the others, but things get worse. Tagetsu people come to fight Kasane. Tagetsu's kids destroy the weapons and defeat Kasane's team, but the human-like monsters fight back and win, but they die too. In her last moments, Naomi tells Kasane to live the life Naomi couldn't. Afterward, Karen defeats the killers after Fubuki but hears that Alice has died. Then, Karen rushes to the place, using gravikinesis. At that time, Kasane wants to use it to save Alice. At the same time, Yuito's team reaches the access point and decides to share the message with Suo's electronic system. When they try to leave, Yuito is attacked by Karen. There, Karen starts to take Yuito's gravikinesis power. Then, Yuito uses the red thread power to stop him. Shortly after, Kasane's team goes to Arahabaki to help. Yuito's team tries to protect Yuito from Karen, but Karen is too strong. In the end, Karen takes over Arahabaki, traps Yuito's team, and forces Yuito to use his powers, opening a portal to the past. When Karen disappears and Kasane's team arrives, they see that Yuito is hurt badly in his brain. Kyoka and Erasure explain that Karen used the red thread to make Yuito lose his memory and disappear from time and space. If Yuito loses all his memories, he will vanish. Soon after, Kasane asks if they can copy their memories and put them into Yuito's mind to save him. Kyoka says it's possible, but needs a special program that only Erasure can make. Moments later, Kajiro shares a blueprint of Yuito's brain he took from Tagetsu. Erasure finishes the program, and the team uploads their memories into Yuito's mind. Before Yuito wakes up, he sees a vision of himself and his mom in the future. The team returns to the surface and finds out that the information Yuito's team uploaded to Arahabaki has reached many people. This makes the people of New Himuka lose trust in the government. Suddenly, Fubuki meets the team but collapses because of her injuries. The team takes Fubuki to a safe house to recover. Fubuki explains that the place where the others are kept was built to help Alice, Aunt Hanabi, and Fubuki's fiancé turn back into humans. The team realizes that Karen absorbed Yuito and Kasane's powers to save Alice. With Luca's permission, Fubuki tells them that Fubuki, Karen, Luca, and Alice were childhood friends. At that time, Alice wanted to join the OSF even though she didn't have psionic powers. When Fubuki and Alice arrived at the OSF office, they met Karen and Luca, who were used by scientists to give them psionic powers. Karen then got the power to copy other people's powers. Shortly after, Fubuki and Alice joined OSF too. There, Alice suggested that Karen and Fubuki become OSF leaders. After many missions together, Karen, Fubuki, and Alice were sent to a place where the extinction belt was very low. This meant they could turn into others if they got too close. During an attack by others, Karen was almost touched by the extinction ray, but Alice used her powers to hold the ray inside herself. Soon after, Alice turned into another. Alice was first kept at the OSF hospital, but Karen and Fubuki moved her to a special place to help her become human again. Sadly, the experiment didn't work, and Alice was kept locked up for a long time. Fubuki thought they were just making Alice suffer more and begged Karen to end her suffering. But Karen wanted to save her no matter what. The team realized Karen had tried many times to save Alice by traveling through time but always failed. This showed that it's impossible to change history. Even though Karen was a big problem, the team decided to focus on stopping Tagetsu by using Babe. On the other hand, Fubuki, who was connected to Suo and Siren, believed the two groups could make peace and fight Tagetsu together. To succeed, the team needed to return to Tagetsu. Kajiro then confessed that he was the one who killed Yuito's father. He explained that he worked as a double agent for Tagetsu and offered Yuito's dad a chance to fake his death to give his son a chance to set things right. But Yuito's dad refused because he wanted to tell his son about Yakumo's true wishes, who never wanted to fight. Sadly, a group of others attacked Kajiro and Yuito's dad, who was hit by a deadly explosion. And Kasane, who was with Yuito's dad in his last moments, confirmed Kajiro's story, but Yuito challenged her to a fight because he wanted to see Kajiro's emotions. Even though Yuito's family on the moon might be gone, if Tagetsu's plan worked, the time they spent together would be erased. At that time, Yuito believes Kajiro is telling the truth, so the team starts their plan to go back to Tagetsu. There, they notice that Yuito's power is getting much stronger. His friends think this means his powers will soon go away because his brain was badly hurt when Karen connected him to Arahabaki. But Yuito decides to ignore this worry and focus on the mission. Soon after, Luca moves the team to Babe's room. There, they see a hologram of a woman who looks like Yuito and Kasane's mother. The hologram is Wakana, a scientist who left Tagetsu because of bad reasons. She went to Suo for safety. They realize the woman is not really Wakana but a hologram made by Babe to stop them. As they go forward, Babe tries to block them from getting information about stopping the black hole. Then, Luca suggests that Yuito and Kasane use the red thread to travel to the past. At that time, Kasane offers to go alone because it would be risky for past and present Yuito to meet. Shortly after, she opens a portal to the past and finds Wakana, who was expecting her because Babe sent information back in time. Sadly, Wakana says only Yuito's death can stop the black hole. Before leaving with Kasane, Wakana asks her to give the earplugs she's wearing to Yuito. Kasane does this, and Yuito remembers that Kasane saved his life. Then, Kasane saves Wakana from Tagetsu's killers and brings her to the present, where they reunite with Yuito. The next day, Yuito and Kasane have breakfast with their mom before their next mission. They need to fix the dimensional entanglement, keeping the black hole open. At that time, they must combine their powers to enter the Chronos terminal, where the red threads cross. This is where they first activated the red thread. In the Chronos terminal, Yuito and Kasane unravel the red thread at 3 different points in time, and it's the day the others attacked Suo, the dark future where Kasane met the older Yuito, and the mysterious day when they found Karen. After finishing their mission, Yuito and Kasane come back to the present, but the black hole is still open. Wakana tells them that there is still a problem with the dimensions because she is in the wrong time. Soon after, she goes back to her own time and uploads her brain to a database, but the black hole stays open. Suddenly, Yuito faints from using his powers too much, so the team takes him to a safe house to rest. In the afternoon, OSF soldiers find the safe house, but with Wataru's help, the team escapes. Yuito and Kasane explain that while they were in the Chronos terminal, they saw Karen killing Yakumo. This makes them think Karen might be the ancestor of the Sumeragi family. Kajiro thinks it's impossible because Yakumo had a child before he died, but admits they need to check the Sumeragi mausoleum to be sure. Soon after, Yuito decides to talk to his brother, who has been removed from his job and is locked in his house. When Yuito meets his brother Kaido on a quiet road, Kaido still wants to kill Yuito and take his brain. But Yuito tells him about meeting their mother and promises to protect the people from Himuka. Suddenly, they are attacked by others. Kaido fights the others to give Yuito time to escape and gives him the key to the Sumeragi mausoleum. Afterward, soldiers from Siren and Suo arrive and fight the others. Fubuki has managed to get them to work together to stop Tagetsu and close the black hole. Meanwhile, Karen tries to travel to the past but gets thrown into a town about to be attacked by others. As the others attack Suo, the Himuka government declares an emergency and puts Kaido back in charge of the OSF. Yuito is sent to the hospital because he used too much of his power. The government realizes the extinction belt is very low, and closing the black hole is now the most important task for everyone. Hoping to find answers about how to close the black hole, Yuito and Kasane's team go into the Sumeragi tomb. The tomb is filled with illusions from Karen's past. Despite the confusing illusions, the team reaches Yakumo's coffin and finds Karen alive inside. They confront Karen there. Soon after, Karen tells them he tried to travel 2,000 years back to absorb Yakumo's power. He believes that using the red thread power, he can save Alice. Sadly, every time Karen tries to save Alice, he fails. So, he transferred his memories to another version of himself, hoping that version could save Alice. Karen has done this many times and thinks Alice's fate can be changed. Suddenly, the present Karen, who copied Yuito and Kasane's powers, appears and demands the past Karen give him his powers. There, the past Karen tries to tell his present self that saving Alice is impossible, but present Karen forcibly takes his powers and connects to Arahabaki. This makes him experience the memories of everyone connected to Arahabaki, including his own past. At that time, Yuito and Kasane make Karen see Alice's happiest memories, showing her desire to be strong for herself. Unfortunately, Karen is not convinced and is willing to let the black hole destroy the world if it means saving Alice. Realizing that Karen won't listen to reason, Luca asks his friends to stop Karen, and the team fights him. Fubuki stops the fighting and finally convinces Karen to give up. Fubuki tells him that Alice would never want Karen to waste his life trying to save her. Then, Karen agrees to help the team save the world Alice loves so much. At that moment, Karen uses his power and asks Arahabaki to help the team move the extinction belt into the black hole, causing its destruction. On the other hand, Yuito almost faints during the operation, but after seeing a vision of Alice with a red thread, his plan works. The extinction belt is pulled into the black holes, and they close. But to fix the final problem, Karen has to erase himself from history using the red thread. This closes the black hole and saves the world. As a result, Alice comes back to life but doesn't remember Karen. With the black hole and extinction belt gone, the conflict between Siren and Suo continues, and the others are still a threat. The OSF is needed more than ever to keep order. Sheridan and Luca get promoted to squad commander and regiment commander. Meanwhile, Fubuki and Alice plan to get married. As for Kyoka and Kajiro, who revealed their real names, are transferred to help the OSF and join the moon exploration project with Kasane. And Kaido is imprisoned and will go on trial for his crimes. In the end, Yuito resigns from the OSF and plans to become a politician to help create a world where psionic users and non-users can live together in peace. Unfortunately, Karen's use of the red thread erased him from everyone's memories, except for Yuito and Kasane. Despite this, Yuito, Kasane, and their friends are determined to keep protecting the world they fought so hard to save. The anime ends here. The moral lesson from this anime is messing with time travel might save the world, but it could make everyone forget you. Also, don't poke black holes with red threads, it's just asking for trouble.